First, we will take a look at individual reporting options. Eligible professionals participating in PQRS as individuals have 4 different reporting options: claims-based reporting, registry-based reporting, electronic health record reporting, and, new in 2014, reporting through a qualified clinical data registry. The reporting period for each option is 12 months. The current reporting period began January 1st, 2014, and will end December 31st, 2014. Measures with a 0% reporting rate will not be counted. We will start off by exploring claims-based reporting. When using claims-based reporting, quality measures are reported through an eligible professional's Medicare Part B claims. If you are considering using this reporting method, please note that some measures may be unavailable for reporting through your Medicare Part B claims. In the 2014 reporting period, if you use the claims-based method, you must report data on 9 measures covering 3 national quality strategy domains. An EP should report on at least 50% of all applicable Medicare Part B fee-for-service patients for each measure. If an EP reports on at least 9 measures covering 3 NQS domains, that EP is considered a satisfactory reporter and will avoid the payment adjustment and be eligible for an incentive payment. If fewer than 9 PQRS measures covering less than the required 3 NQS domains apply to an eligible professional's practice, the EP must report on 1 to 8 measures covering at least 1 NQS domain, and report each measure for at least 50% of the Medicare Part B fee-for-service patients seen during the reporting period. In the case of EPs who satisfactorily submit data for fewer than 9 PQRS measures, a Measure Applicability Validation, or MAV, process will determine whether they should have submitted data on additional measures. The MAV is a 2-part test used to determine whether there are other measures a participating EP should have reported in the PQRS reporting process. First, CMS will examine whether other measures were clinically related and therefore potentially applicable. CMS has identified 2 anesthesia clusters, or clinically related measures, that are subject to MAV. The first cluster consists of PQRS measure number 30, the timely administration of prophylactic parenteral antibiotics, and PQRS measure number 76, the prevention of catheter-related bloodstream infection. The second cluster includes PQRS measure number 76 and measure number 193. Step 2 of the MAV process is a minimum threshold test that is applied only if Step 1 identifies that additional measures could have been reported. Step 2 specifies that an EP is only required to submit a closely related measure if the EP has treated a certain number of Medicare cases applicable to that measure. During the reporting period, CMS will determine a minimum threshold for each individual PQRS measure based on analysis of Part B claims data. No threshold will fall below the common threshold of 15 patients or encounters. If it is determined that an eligible professional could not have reported on additional measures, that EP will not be subject to a payment adjustment and will be eligible for the 2016 incentive payment. A second option for EPs reporting as individuals is registry-based reporting. Through this method, an eligible professional reports PQRS data through a CMS certified registry. CMS-approved registries are allowed to submit PQRS data on behalf of eligible individual professionals. An EP using registry-based reporting has 2 options. The first option is to report on individual PQRS measures. If an EP chooses to report on individual measures via a registry, the EP must report on at least 9 individual PQRS measures covering at least 3 of the National Quality Strategy domains for the 12-month reporting period. The EP must submit data on at least 50% of applicable Medicare Part B fee-for-service patients for each measure. If an EP does not have 9 measures applicable to his or her practice, the EP may report on 1 to 8 applicable measures, covering at least one NQS domain, and, like those reporting on 9 or more measures, must provide data on 50% of eligible Medicare Part B fee-for-service patients for each measure. Those eligible professionals reporting on fewer than 9 measures will be subject to a one-step MAV process that is similar to the clinical relation test used in the MAV process for claims-based reporting. If the MAV process determines that EPs could not have reported on additional measures, then the EP will avoid a payment adjustment but will not be eligible for an incentive payment. An eligible professional choosing to report through a registry can also report on measures groups through a registry. A measures group is a group of clinically related quality measures identified by CMS for use in PQRS. If an EP chooses to report on measures groups through a CMS qualified registry, an EP must submit data on at least one measures group for the 12-month reporting period. The current reporting period is January 1st, 2014 through December 31st, 2014. The EP must submit data for at least 20 applicable patients per measures group. However, only a majority of the patients must be Medicare fee-for-service patients. Measures groups with 0% performance rate on a measure will not be counted. Reporting measures groups through a registry is unique in that a 6-month reporting option is also available. CMS believes that data submitted via qualified registries for a 6-month period will be sufficiently reliable to base a physician or group of physicians' quality composite score. EPs reporting on measures groups via a registry may report for a 6-month period. This year, that reporting period is July 1st through December 31st, 2014. During the 6-month reporting period, eligible professionals must report on at least one measures group and report on each measures group for at least 20 patients, a majority of which must be Medicare Part B fee-for-service patients. Satisfactory reporting for the 6-month reporting period will allow an EP to avoid the payment adjustment and be eligible for an incentive.